Let me see. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, perfect. I'm not going to go over the marketing pages. Those are pretty rudimentary. Like I said last time, we've set up the template so you can easily add in your images, your content, anything that you want to use to educate your prospects or issuers or potential ambassadors on the platform itself.
Mhm.
This is right when you actually get past the sign-in page and you've now launched into your dashboard. Is that okay to start?
Yeah. Can you hold on? Now my kids are arriving. Just a minute.
Sure. Yep.
Sorry. I don't know where they went.
No problem. Let me know when you started recording and we can get started.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Okay, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
So I'm ready.
Ready to go?
Hmm.
Okay, awesome. So this is your dashboard as soon as you've logged in. Before anyone can get past the actual front end of the system, they have to sign in through email or Facebook or LinkedIn to get to the dashboard. And once they're here, because the system is made for accredited investors right now, there is a number of screens that we have to go through. And depending on your third-party accreditation software, or if you have a back office in-house, this is the screens that you would see.
Mhm.
So as a user, as soon as I get to my dashboard, I have to fill out these forms. So if you have an accreditation form that you'd like to customize, that's something that we can do. But what we've done here is based on the US and Canadian system. And it's also assuming that you have a back office that will do your due diligence and then push that user from pending to approved once you've gone through. So this is your first screen. It talks about the income, their income destination, their net worth, their employment information, are they an international investor, and then agreeing to terms and conditions, and then they submit the form. Once they've submitted a form, they get pushed to another screen that will start the application wizard. So they get a quick notification here. Thank you for registering. Here's some other questions we need for you to do. And again, depending on the accreditation system that you have there, we can choose to make this a little different, and you can play around with the process itself. But here's your accreditation investor certification. So this is a little more robust. Once they've gone here, and you want to know your clients, this is where you do that. So who's a representative? They're all their information. We can add in the addresses here as well. Who's a group profile? If there's an image that you want them to use, that's good for obviously the system as well too. When they're investing or watching and things like that, the group and leaderboards will pick this image off. If there's any legal documentation information that you want them to have, like tax ID, federal ID, social insurance numbers, things like that, this is where you get this. And then your primary contact information.
Mhm.
So once I've filled that out, we go to the next piece, which is your preferences. Sorry, it just takes a couple seconds to load. All right, this is really important because of the recommendation engine that we have on the back end of the site. And what that means is that if I'm looking for split level condominiums or split level houses, those are the type of preferences that this page will collect. Or also, I'm looking for, I have a preference of projects in the UK versus Canada, for example. This is where you get that information. So what's your risk level? What cities are you looking to invest in? What's the objective? Is it long term? Is it income? Is it supplementary? and what's your time horizon. So all of this will work to the recommendation engine. So what we're trying to do is push projects that people are interested in and not give them anything random. So once they've done that, the form will be sent, and you can set your social networks as well too. So this is really good for you guys and any other prospect as well that we talk to, because a big part of crowdfunding is not only educating but also making sure that there's marketability behind the projects and also the system itself. So once they've signed on with either of these, they can now easily share their projects throughout their social medias or social media sites, but you also get recognition in that way as well.
Mhm.
So once they figure that out, they've gone through the steps. If they have any questions, they can call you. I'm sure the ones at this point, but they can now, they're waiting approval. So now you get the email saying, Fuse Mitha has applied to become an investor. Please make sure you meet the requirements, and once you've done that, you can go back on the back end, put me from pending to approved, and now I'm in the system. So once I get approved, this is my dashboard. So as my dashboard, we want to see things at a high level, right? So what's the total offering? What's the recent activity in the last 6 months? What are the last 5 completed transactions? How many live projects are there on the platform right now? And then some of the new notifications. So this is the same dashboard that an administrator would see as well too, which is why you see Elisa as the administrator. It's very similar but with different data. So it's more of a high level overview of what's going on in the system.
Okay.
So here, this is where you can now, once you're now in the system, you can now make changes to your user profile. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. So this is your dashboard, and the edit profile has all of the sub-menu systems that give you the opportunity to have everything at a glance. If you want to see now what's going on inside the actual platform, here are your different investments. One thing I want to note as well too is that in the beginning, when we can set up the categories to make sure that it's in sync to what you want to have. This is based on location because this is a real estate platform that we designed. But it can be all kinds of categories. Well, there's types of projects. I know last time we were talking about was it renewable energy projects that you're
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but this part I can adjust in the admin area myself, or
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll set that up in the beginning, and then we'll give you the tools to make those adjustments if you want to add categories, remove categories, things like that.
okay.
So this is your general project page. So it gives you an idea of the projects that are on the platform right now, specific to that one category.
Uh-huh.
If you're watching a project as a user, this is what you would see as well too. So this is that's something if you're not interested in actually investing yet, but you want to keep an eye on it, receive notifications, and make sure your finger's on the pulse, and you can wait until you're actually ready to invest. So when you're exploring the projects, this is what you would see as well too. So this is more of a robust category section. You can see the projects that are new, recently funded, ending soon, or successful campaigns.
Uh-huh.
This is good for everybody included, right? What we want to show is that there are more than a few projects on the platform. You want to show potential issuers what a successful campaign looks like, so we keep that on there. And then there's also the ones that are ending soon as well too. So maybe some of them are at that 80% push. They just need to get a few more dollars in there before they can actually complete, and those are the ones that are ready to go. So again, here you can see the categories have changed now. And that's what yours will look like once you've done that.
Uh-huh.
And you'd also see now as the filter goes on. So you can change the city or the type of category, or you can view all. So we've set it up in a way that's pretty dynamic.
Okay.
Now, once you're actually inside of a project, this is what it looks like. So I've clicked on project A. I see the overview. So this is when an administrator or a project administrator will update their video or upload a video. It's really much the marketing aspect of it as well. Right? So this is my project. This is what we're trying to raise. Here are the highlights. Any more legal information that you'd like, offering documents, things like that, will all go on the homepage overview. We also give other issuers and other investors and watchers the ability to see who the latest funders are. Your developer name, so they can click on that.
Can I, if I'm an investor, can I see information regarding the other investors, or?
Right now, all we've done is I'll show you that in the updates. But right now, all you can do is click on their name, and that's it.
Okay.
So you can see who they are. But again, if you want to lock that's up to you. So for rewards and donations, a lot of times people want to see who's part of the community because they validate the project. If I'm an avid investor in the community and someone sees my name on someone else's project, it's like going back to the books, right? If you open up a book and you see the forward and you see like the cover of 5 different people that have said this is an amazing book, but it's like $75, you're more likely to buy that if they're reputable names. So that's why we want to showcase that.
Okay.
So here you can share the project. You have the goal that you're trying to raise, how many days are left, the offering, the annual return, and how many investors. And then obviously we want people to invest in. So if they choose to check out more pages, this is what you're looking like. So here are your financials. What's the strategy here? What's the structure? Offering documents, things like that. And then again, because this is a real estate platform, this is more of the property. So here's your gallery. Talk about the project itself, where the location is there a map, right? Any amenities, things like that. Any highlights? So you show this. And then more about the developer. So it could be the developer or the management team behind it. The project looks great, but I want to know who's behind it. So this is where you set that up. So you can see exactly who's part of the project, some of their credentials and their backstory. And then the updates, this is more of a one-way conversation. So this is the project administrator and the platform actually spitting on updates. So as people are watching, as people are investing, as people are asking questions and things like that, this is where you'd see that the activity has actually been done here. And then when you want to see comments, this is more of a forum. So if you want to make a direct comment or a question to the issuer, this is where you do that. And so you can have a two-way conversation. You can have sub-conversations. It's really just an open forum so that people can and keep transparent.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Sorry, there's a page that I've already showed you. Just give me 1 second. So it's
hold on, please. Sorry, just needed to tell the kids to keep quiet.
So that's what you would see from an investor point of view.
Yeah.
Very simple. We kept it very intuitive. What we tried to do is make it easy as possible for people to take the questions that you've given them for the accreditation process. You do your due diligence. They can invest, or they can watch, or they can comment, and they can view updates, or they can share the project. Once you log in as a developer from the sign-in page, this is the dashboard that you get launched into from the beginning. So again, we have another account set up here. So if you're a developer, you have to do your due diligence so people can just sign up as an account and start projects. So it's a little more robust here. So this is actually before the project is even launched, right? So all those things that we've seen that were pre-populated would happen here. So this is the overview of the project. What's the company name? If there's a URL, your goal information, things like that. Very much just everything here would pre-populate what I just showed you from an investor point of view. So what category would you want to go in? What's the overview? Offering period. If you have a tipping point, things like that. You might have another website associated with that people can actually see.
Yeah.
Here's your financial overview, right details here. Your annual return, capital structure, market summary, offering documents. So it just walks you through a similar wizard. And again, what I showed you in the property details with the images and things like that, this is where you would see that. So you put all that information here, photos and all that, and then all that would populate.
Okay.
So I probably should have showed you the developer side first, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, your team members. So what I'm trying to show you here is our back end of the platform looks exactly like our front end. This is a really database-driven platform. Any crowdfunding platform is very database-driven. So it's really important to have a really great user experience from all point of view, not only from an administrator, but from an investor, an issuer, or even someone that's just watching.
Yeah.
All right. So as a developer now, you can quickly go to your avatar and change some of your information very quickly and sign out. And then this is your dashboard. So it's specific to your projects that you have going on. Mm-hmm. So this data can be manipulated on top of the Google Analytics that we already give, but this is more system analytics. So how many people are watching your projects, how many people have commented, how many new users do you have, how many days left, things like that. Any kind of notifications that you want to send, all that kind of stuff can happen here. So from the back end as well, from a developer point of view, if you want to see the projects that you're a part of, here are the ones. And this is actually, this is not even developer anymore, this is your administrator. So this is now the project list from the administrator. You can see from a top level.
Is that me as an administrator or a project developer?
No, this would be a project administrator. Sorry, a platform administrator. So if you own the platform,
okay,
this is what you would see. So these screens are a little intertwined just to show you like the vastness.
Yeah.
but that's what you would see. So at any time, as a super administrator, you can see all the projects that are here, and then get into them as you like as well too. So these are some of the transactions that have gone through, and you can filter them. Keep in mind as well too, all of our data is exportable through a CSV, so you can plug it into Mailchimp or Excel or whatever you want to use to make any more data-driven decisions.
Okay.
Here's where you can see your receipts. So some of the transactions that have gone through. And this is more of a granular look as well too. So inside the actual project, you can see who that person was and how much they actually invested from a day-to-day perspective.
Okay.
And so you can edit your profile very quickly here. Okay, from a super administrator perspective, if you want to manually add a user, this is where you can do that. Create the account for them. If someone hasn't come to the website yet, and you say, "Hey, Dave, I think you really like my platform. I've already created your account. Here's a URL. I've already signed you in," and then they can do the accreditation process.
Okay.
We've had to do that for webinars and things like that as well too. When people just don't sign up, they see a lot of people see emails all the time. But if you know someone personally, you can set this up for them manually, and then and bring them in. Obviously, they'd have to be a trusted individual, but we get that in. So this is going back to your preferences now as the administrator. What you can set here is the level of notifications and things like that as well too. So sometimes people don't want to get notified for every little thing. So they can get notified based on the project. They can get notified based on system updates and things like that, like more of a blog. Or they can just get no notifications at all. So this is where you change your notifications. Again, back to the list of all the projects. If you want to add a manual transaction, well, sometimes what happens is that, especially on donations and rewards, but even equity, a project investment wouldn't go through a credit card, for example. No. If you put in $5,000, maybe it would go through PayPal, right? But if it was like a $50,000 investment and it went through a bank transfer, for example, we've given you an opportunity to go on here and manually actually add the transaction, so the meter would go up because the meter right now is actually linked to a payment provider. Yeah. So if you don't have if it's an offline transaction, if someone gives you cash or whatever, then you can just do that manually.
Okay. I think we'll be using some kind of escrow account for our purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime that happens, then as well too, once the transaction's been through and the issuing agent approves it, then you can go on here and manually put that up there as well.
Okay.
So I presume, and the only difference down here as well too is that in Canada, most of the transactions that they're proposing are like $1,500. So that's why I think something like PayPal would be used, but I'm pretty sure PayPal would not even allow that. You might have to find another payment processor.
Yeah, PayPal is also too expensive, so to use in this matter. So we have our own payment provider, payment gateway that we'll use for this, and along with the escrow.
Okay, perfect.
And I have a side question. What is it possible to add SMS gateway?
An SMS gateway?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we can do, because of our background as Joy Media and being a custom software development shop, anything is possible.
Okay.
If you want, and what I'm providing here right now is a base that you can add on. So, as I mentioned in the last call, we're your technology provider. So we're leaning on you to say, this is my accreditation process. This is my escrow account. Maybe your escrow account is associated with a bank that has their own API that we have to plug in. All these things would have to be looked at in the beginning. So when we start the project, the first 20 hours, roughly, is more or less research and discovery. So we'd work with you and your partner and some of the service providers that you want to plug in, look at their documentation, look at their APIs, and make sure that it all makes sense and it works. And once that's good to go, that $20,000 setup cost may or may not be enough. You might have to add on to that, as well as we have to look at just different timelines and stuff like that. So if you want to add on certain functionality that takes a little bit longer, this is where we give you the statement of work. So right now I give you like an estimated statement of work saying $20,000 for the setup, not including any of the integrations as are provided, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right away when we get started, that's kind of what we do. So we collaborate with our creative director, our technical director, our project manager, your team, and then we put together that comprehensive statement of work with a 90% confidence rate on the price that we give you.
Okay. Can you show me an example of how it could look design way, the front end?
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose you already have some templates ready to go, more or less.
Yeah, what we've done is because we've done so many research. We've done so many projects on the donations and reward side and things, and we just found what worked, right? So we tried to keep it very visually captivating, very much a lot of the white space. We give you the opportunity to put in your own banners and your messaging and things like that. But what we found though with our analytics is people want to just get started. All the software that we built, they want to just get right into it and start playing, right?
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. This is what it looked like. This is an example of the front end. So we get your brand guidelines, your style guides, so you can change the fonts, you can change the colors of banners. Your logo would go here, obviously. All of this would change.
Yeah.
The layout, and most part, stays the same.
It's a lot like Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we try to do is look at what works, right?
Yeah.
We've raised $500,000 on our own platform, and because we kept it clean, people just get in, and they know exactly what they're getting. So I can show you another example of some other ones, how it look like. Let's see. And you can see like the vast difference as well too when you have designed them. It gives you your whole look and feel for sure. So this is the exact same platform, but because of the image and the banner that we provided, anything above the fold basically is something that we can tweak. And once you've done that, it gives you your own look, feel, and your basically your corporate soul behind it, right?
Yeah. Hafiz, can you tell me who is online using your software of equity crowdfunding?
Sure. Right now, we only have a couple in the States right now that are using it, and they're actually in the works. We've had a number of inquiries that were in the process of closing.
Yeah.
That's just like this. But a lot of the companies that we're working with, we're working on either getting their compliance certificates or just waiting for the regulations to go through. And to truth be told as well too, we didn't want to put in too much time in creating a system that may or may not actually function in the way we wanted to, based on the regulations as they come through, being a Canadian company. So we did hold off a little while and focus on rewards and donations. But we have, like I showed you, we have a base. We've thought it all through. We are, again, founding sponsors of the National Crowdfunding Association, so we're all over it.
Yeah.
It was just with our team, where do we want to dedicate our resources? Because it was funny. A lot of companies had the cash. Like I have one client out in New York that paid for the system, but he wanted to be an early adopter. So he was doing things before the regulations were even out. And as soon as the regulations came out, even for the commenting period, he was like, "Oh shit, there's a few things that need to get done, right?"
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah." So he put that on hold, and that's why we figured let's work on educating people first. Let's provide designs, development, and then work with your team to customize. And based on our background as a custom shop, that's the way we like to do it, rather than here's a one size fit all.
Okay, if I can ask you to be so kind to send me the few examples of online operating equity crowdfunding that you support with the software on an email, then it's perfect.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't do that.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because they're not live yet. So I can't show you like a piecemeal. But what I can show you is a few examples of our donations and rewards, just so you get an idea of how they look.
Yeah.
And function. Would that be fun?
Yeah. That's also fine. Yes. Last time you showed me an example. If, for example, we have a project developer who's adding a project and he wants to edit some important details, then he's not. He cannot do that without the super administrator's right.
Yeah, what that was for when they want to make changes that would either compromise the integrity of the project, or just give you something that you wouldn't want them to do. So, for example, it'd be things like changing the title of the project, or changing the amount raised, or changing the amount of the goal, right? So if I'm trying to raise $1 million for a project, as a project administrator, that's locked because that's what you've approved me on, right? So I can't change that.
Yeah.
I can change all the content. I can change all the aspects of a project. But as a system administrator, you can go in now and say, okay, I talked to Hafiz. He wants to raise $1 million. He now needs to raise $2 million, and this is why. Do we want to promote that on our platform, or do we want to say no, this is a fail, and you have to do it all over again? That comes down to how you want to treat your clients and your projects after you've done your due diligence. So as a project administrator, this is what you can actually. This is the stuff that you can change. So I can change my name of the people that are on the team. I can change updates, comments. And if I want to add a manual update, such as something like donation update, I would click here, and then this would go and say $50,000, and then you would have to actually approve that on this platform.
Okay.
Just because what we didn't want people to do is say, okay, I'm trying to raise $100,000 and I'm 75% of the way there, and maybe they haven't raised that much money. So it's just a way for you to do your due diligence and to make sure that you actually put the locks on there, so you have some control on that platform. If you have someone brand new to the site that's actually, they seem credible, but you don't want to keep it completely open.
All right. So how long will it take when we say that we're good to go? How long will it approximately take for us to be good to go?
That depends on the integrations that we have to plug in. But from our experience and some of the guys that we talked to and the ones even we work with, like one of our clients out of Miami had 12 integrations. And he was using things like Jumio and Crowd Bouncer and Crowdentials and Bankbox and all those other guys as well too that he wanted to help put in. Most of them had great APIs, and they worked with us to actually get it done. So that took about 2.5 months. But if you wanted to get a standard setup up, you have your escrow already set up, you have the manual accreditation process that we have going, you're happy with that, we can get you up in about 6 weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it then.
Okay, awesome. So what I can do is that I'll send you an email with a few of these donation reward sites. And what I'll do also is I'll send you a document that I didn't send you after the last call, which is my fault. And it's like an overview document that I sent you for the donations and rewards.
Yeah.
But it's more of the screens that I showed you today, and the write-up beside them as well too. So it's good to share along with this recording as well.
Okay, perfect. That's I'm very happy about this, Hafiz, and I will thank you for your time. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, that sounds great. Any questions or concerns in the meantime from you or your partner, please let me know.
Yeah.
We have no problem chatting again.